Welcome, everyone. It is our pleasure to present to you Phys Ed and Wellness in View, the financial literacy professional learning opportunity. My name is Jodi Harding-Kruiger. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a assistant lecturer here at the University of Alberta, and I'm here representing the Healthy School Labs, and I'll let Jen introduce herself.
Thank you, Jodi. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenn Miro, and I'm a health and wellness consultant with EverActive Schools. I've worked with a wonderful team to explore physical education and wellness, and we've learned a lot about the new curriculum as we went along our journey. My pronouns are she and her, and again, I'm excited to share this information with you today.
Thanks, Jen. And so this workshop was designed in partnership, tripartite, with EverActive Schools and the Healthy Schools Lab and Alberta Regional Professional Development Consortia. And so it is our absolute pleasure to be working alongside these organizations to bring you this professional learning. So to begin with, we want to familiarize or re-familiarize you with the Healthy Schools standards. And so this document or these standards were created by the Canadian Healthy Schools Alliance. So that's a partnership across the country comprised of the Canadian Association of School System Administrators, so CAS, the Canadian School Boards Association, Dedicated Action for School Health, or DASH, EverActive Schools, EAS, us, the Ontario Physical and Health Education Association, OFIA, and the Physical and Health Education, PHE Canada, and the Circle Research Lab that's based out of the University of Alberta here, the School of Public Health. And so you can see that there are 8 strands across the bottom there, the 8 strands or standards that highlight the importance of students as change makers. The Healthy School Standards honor school-specific autonomy, and they encourage admin leadership, higher level support, and dedicated health champions who create opportunities to use quality evidence and share professional learning and community supports and empower students to make changes in their school settings. And currently, we're using these standards to spark conversations and to be a tipping point where the school community comes together to evaluate the well-being in schools. So if you are familiar with like the joint consortium and the surveys that we used to do and the needs assessment and so on and so forth, these standards are what a lot of schools are moving towards instead in terms of measuring healthy school success, accountability. There are processes for looking at a systemic approach to enhancing well-being. And so ultimately the document defines healthy schools and describes a framework that you can follow for promoting holistic, both WH and H holistic well-being within a school community. And so it really does focus on strength-based approaches, primarily in illuminating and deepening the strengths within the school community, so very context-based, and moving from like fragmented initiatives and activities towards a more comprehensive system-wide approach that can be implemented like grassroots level, as well as with administrators, senior administrators, and school communities. So it is definitely something to consider if you're interested in more conversation around the Healthy School Standards. We are here to support that because the majority of us are working towards comprehensive school health, and the standards really help us with that accountability piece in seeing if we're on the right track with comprehensive school health. And so again, this is a framework internationally recognized for building healthy school communities. And the standards that I just mentioned really do work to build upon comprehensive school health and give you a pathway for adopting a whole school approach. All right, so today, what are our outcomes for today? Like all good teachers, we share our learning outcomes with our students prior to our lesson. And so what we really want to do, we have three main focuses, foci today, to provide an overview of the phys ed and wellness curriculum, the PE and wellness curriculum. We're going to define financial literacy as it relates to health and well-being, and discover how to teach financial literacy effectively in our classrooms and gymnasiums. So we'll work together to look at how financial literacy fits, and it does fit within the wellness curriculum, and look at its role in promoting whole child education. So our goal is for you to walk away from this workshop with ideas on how you can achieve and teach and meet the financial literacy outcomes, again, in your classrooms, gymnasiums, outside.
Today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of an introduction of the new curriculum, just to give you an idea about what the curriculum is and its elements and how it connects to overall health. But we'll spend the majority of our time really looking at financial literacy and how to apply that to your classroom. The session today has been designed for educator leaders and jurisdiction level, but we will adapt it so that you're walking away with some of those practical opportunities. So how did the new curriculum come to be? Well, physical education and wellness really aims to promote the development of a whole individual. And it's designed to nurture students in their pursuit of a healthy and active lifestyle. The concept for the new curriculum has really been based on a holistic approach to well-being. And this model emphasizes that multiple dimensions work together to make up our overall health. So we know as educators that achieving a healthy lifestyle is more than just exercising regularly and eating well. Although these two components are really important, it's also important for us to consider positive social connections, practicing emotional intelligence, and connecting with the community as part of our health. So the model on the right really shows that wellness and health are combinations of multiple things working together. Excellent. So when we look at physical education and wellness, as the curriculum indicates, physical education is really supporting the well-being and active lifestyle through joyful social interactions, promoting movement skills. When we look at wellness education, these are topics that help students better understand themselves and understand their position in their community and how to make informed decisions in a variety of contexts. Excellent. So as you know, we have launched a brand new curriculum starting at the beginning of the school year. And with this new curriculum comes a framework that you may or may not be familiar with. Now, with this framework, this information here is a simple representation of what you can find on the new Alberta website when you go and you look for resources on the new curriculum. And it's important to have an understanding of how the curriculum is structured to help provide context in our later discussion of financial literacy. So the physical education and wellness curriculum really brings the dimensions of health that we spoke about earlier together as organizing ideas. These organizing ideas are the category or area of study within the curriculum. The organizing ideas themselves are interconnected and can be taught in unison or taught together through some creative lesson planning. And then also with these organizing ideas, you can really achieve multiple learning outcomes by bringing these concepts together. So when we look at our organizing ideas, there are 8 in total that we need to be aware of when we teach the new curriculum. Each one of the organizing ideas is supported by guiding questions and learning outcomes. It's important to know that within the new PE and wellness curriculum, there are 10 learning outcomes for K to 3 and 11 learning outcomes for 4, 5, and 6. Each guiding question learning outcome is supported by a series of cusps or knowledge, understanding, and skills and procedures. Together, the cusps really reflect the stages of learning as your students engage with the concepts within the curriculum. So knowledge is the basic information that a child needs to know. Understanding is an application of that knowledge in different contexts. And then finally, skills and procedures are the actions or demonstrations that a student shows that they know and understand the information that's being presented. So from a financial literacy context, an example of knowledge is goods are things that are made or produced, and services are things that individuals do for others. An application of understanding would be knowing that money can be used in exchange for goods and services. And then finally, a student could demonstrate their understanding and knowledge by identifying circumstances that are goods and certain circumstances that are services that could be exchanged for money. Excellent. And lastly, the curriculum is supported by a foundation of progressions called competency, literacy, and numeracy. So with progressions, these are the natural things that a student will learn as they progress through a grade, and these progressions are achieved by the combination of efforts of all the teachers. So all the teachers who are teaching in grade 3, whether you're teaching math, science, language arts, physical education, and wellness, you're all working towards developing these characteristics in your students as they progress throughout the year. So with financial literacy is having the knowledge and skills to make responsible decisions about money management. When we consider financial literacy as part of the phys ed and wellness curriculum, the first thing that comes to mind is that we're teaching our students about spending, about saving, about investments, but we know that financial literacy is a lot more. With financial literacy, it really gives us a platform to also teach our students about character building skills. So we're teaching our students about, how to make good decisions. We're teaching them how to set short-term and long-term goals. And we're also teaching them about how they can be positive contributors in their communities. So by including financial literacy in our wellness curriculum, we're really trying to set up our students for success so that later in life, they can make great decisions or good decisions in a complex financial world. We're also setting them up so that they develop a critical set of life skills. We know that financial literacy is associated with improving confidence and self-esteem. And then we're also hoping to inspire our students to contribute to their communities and be positive citizens. Excellent. When we put financial literacy at the center of our model here, this is really a representation to show how financial literacy connects with all the other components of wellness. So when we look at financial literacy and how it's tied to active living, which is represented by the running shoes, and sports, which is represented by the balls, we know that having a healthy financial status really supports participation in sport and recreation. So as a student grows older, they may need to have access to some finances to support recreation programs, potentially purchase a gym membership, contribute to some sport fees, or maybe even purchase equipment and supplies that are needed to be active. When we look at building our self skills or our individual skills, having a good financial status really helps reduce stress and anxiety. And it allows us to build some confidence and self-esteem as well. When we compare financial literacy to healthy relationships, Financial health gives people an opportunity to help others and contribute to their communities in a positive way. And we see this a lot through charitable donations and fundraisers, but it can also simply be being able to help a family member or a friend who needs support financially as well. When we look at healthy eating, having good financial status allows us to access the healthy foods we need to support a balanced diet and a balanced nutrition. And it also gives us the ability to purchase whole foods from the grocery store or the market. When we consider financial literacy in terms of safety, it helps us take part in health education strategies such as training and certification courses. And it also allows us to purchase the equipment and supplies that we need to support our own safety. And then finally, the connection to growth and development is that, you know, as we age, having financial support or good financial health will allow us to access certain benefits as we get older. Giving ourselves access to services like physiotherapy, massage therapy, chiropractical services, and even dentistry becomes really, really important. So as you can see, financial literacy is tied to our overall health and well-being in many different ways. Excellent. It's important to be mindful that when we do introduce financial literacy to the students in our classrooms, that we need to be aware of some sensitivity and biases. So we need to recognize that students do come from diverse families and backgrounds where their financial realities can cause stress in their lives. As an educator, we're all responsible to demonstrate sensitivity to individual circumstances that face our students on a day-to-day basis. Now, our friends at UofA, which is Ontario Physical Health and Education Association, introduced financial literacy as part of their curriculum earlier than Alberta. And they're promoting a program called Wallet Wellness, which really links financial literacy to the classroom and the gymnasium. They've done a beautiful job in laying out some information about sensitivity and biases. And I strongly encourage that if you haven't done so already, take a look at their website and see the information that's available. When we do consider the sensitivity of financial literacy, there's some things that we can do to help guide you in this initiative. So as you're as you're planning your lessons, practice using some broad examples that will allow your students to draw from their own experiences. So recognizing, for example, that maybe not all students have access to an Xbox or a PlayStation, or maybe not all students own a bicycle, simply ask for them, you know, to report back to you what some of their recreation activities are before going into specific examples or drawing from those experiences. The other thing that you can do is be aware and plan in advance how you're going to manage conflicting opinions in your class, because these can arise when students have discussions amongst each other. So being aware that this is a sensitive topic can help guide you as you prepare your lessons and prepare your discussions. And then finally, remember to remind students of their role in being part of an inclusive environment in your classroom, and stress the importance of respecting thoughts and feelings and values from others. These are all things that can help bring financial literacy to life in your classroom in a positive way. Excellent. Excellent. So if you are in a position where you're supporting a team of teachers, or maybe you're the specialist in your school who's promoting health and physical education and wellness together, these are some ideas on how you can help initiate some of the implementation of the curriculum at your school. So we recognize that each school and school district is unique and has approached implementing the new curriculum differently based on their individual circumstances. For many of the schools that we've noticed, the new PE and wellness curriculum is being shared between two teachers or a team of teachers. The PE teacher or the specialist is really championing the physical education component of the curriculum. And then the homeroom or generalist teacher is really championing the wellness components. If this is a strategy that your school is using, and it works for you, keep on going. It's really important that you're taking that collaborative approach in introducing the new curriculum. What we recommend is that at some point along your journey, consider maybe bringing the education and wellness curriculum together in its entirety, and keep that in mind when making teaching assignments. Just like we have math teachers who teach math and science teachers that teach science, let's work towards having a physical education and wellness teacher championing this curriculum. What that does is it really exemplifies the relationship between the parts of the whole. So by having one teacher or a team of teachers championing the new curriculum, it allows you to bring all of those organizing ideas together and connect them with intention. It also helps us demonstrate as educators the multidimensional nature of health and wellness, and we can bring that curriculum to life in different ways. The other thing that we would encourage is that you look at opportunities for cross-curricular connections. So this is bridging learning outcomes together in different subject areas to promote physical education and wellness. So really having your teachers working together to support student learning in different ways. This also helps students make more connection and gives them meaning to different subject areas. And then finally, by taking a cross-curricular approach, you're creating richer experiences and initiating high quality of instruction. So the other thing that could be helpful when you're considering the new curriculum and championing financial literacy is finding strategic ways to support school-wide events. By applying financial literacy skills and knowledge, this helps students apply these skills to real life experiences. So it provides opportunities for students to engage in experience-based learning. For example, if you had your Division II students helping to support a school dance or a school fundraiser, they can practice some of the skills that they're learning in real life applicable situations. School-wide events also allow students from all grade levels to connect and collaborate and interact together in different ways. And it also helps to establish a healthy school community and culture. And then finally, again, if we're looking at championing financial literacy in our schools, finding some relationships within the community and seeking resources could be really important. So these community partners could be anything like your local grocery store or maybe a local bank, but finding ways that you can connect with some of those champions in our communities to help elevate the learning of financial literacy. So again, this looks like engaging community services and local businesses, maybe finding strategic ways to support local charities and introduce philanthropy into your teaching, and then also looking and seeking for opportunities for students to participate in some fundraising initiatives. Awesome. Excellent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some classroom applications and give you some real life scenarios on how you can bring this curriculum to life by exploring the different learning outcomes. So to start off our journey, we're going to start in kindergarten. So with financial literacy, at this age, really children are just starting to explore money. They may have seen it before in different circumstances with their families, but really children are in this age are really getting their hands and like tangibly using money in different ways. So with our kindergarten kids, we're really introducing them to the different forms of money. So hoping that they can recognize that money is either in coins or bills. The students at this age are learning that there's different characteristics associated with money. So money comes in different colors. There may be different images or pictures on our money. And then they're also learning that money represents different values. In kindergarten, we're really just trying to incorporate money in the different games and activities that we do, and also the imaginative play. So by simply having a toy register or a cash register in your classroom with some play money can go a long way to help students understand and learn about money. You can even simulate different circumstances when money would be exchanged by having play centers set up where students can role play store, whether it's shopping in a grocery store or maybe their favorite toy store. The other thing you can do in a kindergarten class is take a look at some of the games and activities you might play at table stations and incorporate money in different ways. So the example that's listed here on the slide is really a game of memory, and using elements of money or pictures of money to stimulate that learning and stimulate that play. Excellent. Next, we're going to explore grade 1. So in grade 1, students are really understanding money and how it can be used in everyday living. So this is where students, now that they can recognize that money is coins and bills, they're really starting to understand that money represents a different value. They're also starting to identify money and sort it in different ways. And here's where you can start talking about goods and services that could be exchanged for money. Now, remember, goods are the tangible things that we purchase, so things that we can hold in our hands. And then services are the acts of kindness or things that we do for each other in exchange for money. One example of a game or activity that you can try in your classroom is Money Bingo. This game is actually drawn from the Money Mentors website. You can divide your students into teams and provide each team with a card, as you see on the left. And then when you play the game, when you draw the bingo chips or bingo cards, instead of having the picture of money that matches, you can highlight its value. So you would have cards that say E $2 or Y $1, and then the students would need to associate that with the picture that's on their card. To make this game a little bit more active, you can play bingo by using a relay race strategy in your phys ed class, and then you're also tying in some of that movement skill development into the game as well. Excellent, and we'll move on to grade 2. So in grade 2, students are relating money and decision-making skills. So they recognize that managing their money involves making choices or making decisions. And these decisions are related based on needs and based on wants. This is also where students are starting to learn a little bit about how money can be exchanged for goods and services. So the suggested activity for grade 2 is to consider introducing a kindness project in your classroom. And the kindness project would really teach students a lot about the services or the acts of kindness that they can do to help support financial literacy. So to do this project, you would create a list of different acts of kindness that could be demonstrated in a classroom, at home, or in the community. You would work together with your students to categorize the items on a list and assign a number or a points value for each act of kindness. From there, you would encourage the students in your class to earn points by demonstrating the acts of kindness or services on the list. The students or yourself could tally the points up at the end of each day or end of each week with a set goal in mind. And then once the students or the class achieve this goal, then they would be rewarded with maybe an activity day or a class party of some sort. And this really shows that they can that services can be exchanged for something good, and that they can earn money or points and get recognized for the acts of services that they do in their community. Perfect. Excellent. When we look at grade 3, this is where students describe strategies that support responsible money management. So they're learning about the importance of spending their money as well as saving their money. And they're also starting to look at short-term and long-term saving goals to support their needs. In grade 3, the students are also introduced to donating money and how it can have a significant impact on the well-being of others. So the suggested activity for grade 3 is to really start to explore the opportunity to participate in a fundraiser or a charitable donation to really showcase that money can have a significant impact in the community. So I would encourage classes or schools to choose a cause, whether it's fundraising money for your school or supporting a local charity. Really generating some ideas from your students on what they can do to raise money. It's important with whatever cause you choose that you try and design the project so that all students can participate and avoid situations where students are just going home to canvas from their friends and family members or seek pledges. We really want to be mindful that maybe not all families have opportunities to support initiatives like this. So try and find some ways where students can get involved in no matter what their financial circumstances. So picking projects like food drives, talent shows, maybe making some gratitude cards and selling gratitude cards to the community, a bake sale, or even a simple bottle drive could go a long way to help support this initiative. As a teacher, as a school, you would support the students by helping them initiate their project and then really reflecting on their experience through some discussion and reflective activities to emphasize that their financial health has really helped contribute to the community. Excellent. And that brings us to grade 4. So in grade 4, students are examining factors that influence spending. So they are starting to understand that goods and services can be purchased in a variety of ways, not just coins and bills, but perhaps credit cards and debit cards. They're also looking at different factors that influence their decision-making and spending about money. And this is where they start to initiate some learning about banking practices and how a bank can play a role in how they manage their personal finances. And so this is a great opportunity to really connect with your community. A lot of different bank organizations are investing time and resources in educating our younger children and their younger youth. I know ATB Financial, Money Mentors, as well as TD, all have different programs that are available to help support teachers in teaching financial literacy. So bringing a bank and partnering with someone from a bank to either come into your school, or perhaps you could do a community walk to your local bank, will go a long way to help provide students that experience-based learning to support their financial literacy. Excellent. Next, we'll go to our grade 5 students. So our grade 5 students are demonstrating how planning can support their financial goals. So here's where they're starting to develop a simple budget for an activity or an event. They're examining components about a budget and they're learning how those components interact with each other. And then they're creating their savings plan to achieve short-term and long-term goals. So the suggested activity for this grade is to really explore some healthy snack recipes. So as a teacher, you would provide your students with a budget or a set amount of money to work with to spend to make a healthy snack. You can either take your students out to a community walk to a local grocery store or do some research through some flyers or some online websites. The students would tour the grocery store and determine the ingredients they need to create their snack. And also they would need to make some decisions on how to stay within their budget to make the snack that they want. Once the students are completed their research, they would go back and present the information to the class, whether it's through a poster activity or if you have the means and resources to actually make the snacks. Any opportunity for the students to share what they've learned goes a long way. And also make sure that they have an opportunity to provide a summary of their spending. This is a great activity that also connects financial literacy with active living if you are doing that community walk, but also tying in the concepts of healthy eating as well. Excellent. And then last but not least, we look at our grade 6 students. In grade 6, students are really investigating borrowing and investing money in different situations. So for grade 6, they're learning that loan is money that can be borrowed with an agreement to pay back. They're investing money and investments do have an expected opportunity to increase in value. And then they're also learning that there are benefits and risks associated with borrowing and investing money. So for this activity, I encourage teachers and schools to really help grade sixes learn about how to build a business plan by offering to run a physical activity fair or a sport activity day for the school. So having your grade sixes involved in idea building, budget creation, and program planning goes a long way to help support this initiative. So a creative way to include this into a grade 6 curriculum is dividing your grade 6 students into groups of 2 or 3. As a phys ed teacher, you can create an activity in a phys ed class where teams of students participate in different stations. And by doing activities at those stations, they can earn points or money. So these stations could be things like, you know, throwing a basketball in a basketball hoop or doing laps around the gym. Each activity is worth a set of points. Once the students have their points or their money, they contribute, combine it with their teammates. The students can then exchange their points and money and purchase equipment in your storage room. So you can organize your phys ed storage room. Maybe your parachute is worth $20. Maybe a sport ball is worth $5. The students would purchase things from your equipment room, and this would be the equipment that their team has available to them to create a carnival game or an activity. Once groups of students have their groups of equipment, they need to create an activity that can be played or that's age appropriate for the younger students in their school. And then the grade 6 students would host the activity day by running these games and activities for maybe Division 1 students. For this day, you could give your younger students tickets to participate in the games, and then they would hand in a ticket to their grade 6 student to take part in their activity. At the end of the event, your grade 6 students can reflect on their success by counting the number of tickets they received and comparing to see if that number is higher or lower than their original budget. So again, this is an out-of-the-box idea on how you can teach your grade 6s about financial literacy. It's also a great way for you to promote a school-wide event and get different age groups and different grades working together in a concept of financial literacy. Excellent. I do know we have 5 minutes left, but I want to share a few resources with you before we end the conversation. So these are some of the resources that we came across as we explored financial literacy and we thought would be really helpful for you as a teacher. So the first resource that we have came across was from our friends at UofA. Again, we referred to Wallet Wellness. If you haven't done so already, check out some of the activities and the resources they have on this website. Because UofA has done such a fantastic job in tying financial literacy to physical education and movement skills. Our second resources that we would recommend is an organization called Junior Achievement. This organization is Canadian, and they do have branches in Southern Alberta and Northern Alberta. Junior Achievement partners with educators, donors, and volunteers to really bring real-world experiences into the classroom. They do focus on financial literacy as well as work readiness and entrepreneurship. And they do have some resources available that you could do in your classroom to help bring financial literacy to life. So I'd highly encourage you to take a look at the resources available on Junior Achievement. And then finally, this is Money Mentors. So Money Mentors offers free financial literacy presentations to K-12 students and really drives home money concepts in the classroom. They've beautifully designed their website so you can easily access resources for elementary school, junior high, and high school. And I was really also impressed that they've tied all of their resources to the new curriculum. So if you haven't found a good resource already, I highly recommend that you start with Money Mentors because they have a lot of ready to go resources that you could implement into your classroom on Monday. So I highly recommend that you take a look at Money Mentors. Excellent. This is an activity that I would encourage you to try in your classroom with just knowing the time that we have today. I'll explain it to you. We won't necessarily participate in it, but this is a great way to kind of get feedback from your students using a financial context. So asking your students what was their favorite part or where was their time well spent? What ideas will you save or what will you bring back to your classroom? And then what idea or concept would you like to invest more time in? Or what questions do you have that you need to do more research? Again, I wish we had time to do this today, but I want to be respectful of the time that we have.